This was my 1995 Honda XR250R. It didn't run, it looked awful, and it had been seriously neglected. But over the past few weeks, I've slowly been rebuilding each and every component of this bike, and today we finally get to stick it back together and see it run for the first time.
Now, our first step is to get this freshly rebuilt motor back into this frame. So let's see if we can fit it in there.
Putting this bike together is pretty much going to be the reverse of when we took it apart, so we'll start with the motor and build our way out.
Alright, I think that's in. Motor's in the frame. I think it was easy to put an engine back into a car. So the engine goes in pretty easy, and then you've pretty much got to start placing all these various components around it. There's kind of somewhat of an order to it so you can get things in and out. So I've just put on the oil cooler, which will sort of seal off all our oil system. And then it's pretty much like we're going to be adding random bits like with the rear suspension, front suspension, and yeah, it'll just slowly start coming together.
The rear suspension on the XR is fairly basic, with the main component being the swing arm, as well as a few linkages that connect it to the frame, as well as the rear shock.
So the swing arm and linkages are in, so I'm going to actually throw in now the reconditioned rear shock. So I actually ended up getting this regassed just down at a local place, Smooth Suspension in Lilydale. So yeah, this should be right to go. So we'll bang it in, and yeah, then we'll be looking good.
I thought the rear suspension install would be fairly simple, but something about putting in this rear shock didn't seem quite right. But for now, I decided to continue on with putting the bike together anyway.
So we're going to move up to the front, and first I got to bang in some new bearing races for the headstand bearings, which is obviously what our handlebars and everything mounts to. So we'll smack these in quickly. Hopefully they go in all right.
Using a bearing driver kit, I was able to install the outer races of the top and bottom bearings into the headset. Then I could prepare the triple clamp stem for its new seal, as well as our freshly packed bearings. The triple clamp and stem can then be inserted into the headset, and then our top bearing can be placed on, as well as our bearing lock nut.
Alright, let's get these handlebars on, eh?
With the handlebars now attached, I could then move on to installing the airbox, which would quickly reveal an error in my installation of the rear suspension.
I'm sure one of you smart people in the audience will be able to tell me what I've done wrong here, because there's no way that this airbox is this hard to get in. There's just no way.
I could not get the airbox to fit into its position without clashing against the rear shock. So I went back to the manuals to make sure that I'd installed all the suspension correctly.
Well, if you saw what happened there, camera, the reason I thought something was wrong was because something was wrong. I had the linkages back to front, or in the spots they shouldn't be, and that was causing it all to bind up. So yeah, mistakes were made, but it is fixed now. So yeah, I'll get these suspension stuff tightened back down again, and yeah, then we'll keep assembling. It should go in from the back now, like so.
This is why it pays to take notes when you're disassembling something, so you can put it back together properly. Otherwise, you have to be meticulous in reading the manual so that you can install it all correctly.
So with the airbox now fitting in properly, because I sorted out the mishap with the suspension, we're going to keep piecing together, and we're going to bridge the gap between the airbox and the motor with the carburetor. Now, I actually went through and rebuilt this. I just did a new set of gaskets as well as new jets. It was completely seized up, but now it's flowing freely. So yeah, we'll whack this in, and then yeah, we'll be looking pretty good for the intake side. Got it.
With the carburetor now installed, it was then time to put the frame back onto the bike stand so we can continue with assembly. Apart from my little mishap with the rear suspension, the reassembly was all going really well. Components like the rear brake assembly, exhaust headers and tailpipe only require a few bolts and are super easy to access for installation. Next, we could install the rear wheel, and this was getting me super excited because it was starting to actually look like a motorbike once again.
Wow, it's starting to look like a bike now. I'm getting excited. Next, I'm going to bang in the front forks, and then we'll be able to whack a wheel on it. It'll be looking pretty much 90% of the way there. So these should, with any luck, slide on in.
The forks did need a little bit of persuasion getting up into the triple clamp, but before long we had them all in their correct positions. Whilst reassembling, I'm making sure to reference the manual for torque specifications, specifically for components like suspension, which you really don't want coming undone while you're riding.
It's really starting to look like a motorbike now, eh, Paddy?
It sure is.
Looks like you could actually jump on it and it might take you somewhere.
Next to go on is the front wheel assembly, as well as the brake caliper. With all the major components of the bike now installed, I can move on to smaller items like chain guides, rubbers, and routing cables and wires.
So I've just been messing around plumbing up all wires, cables, hoses, all that sort of stuff. I'm just gonna do now, one of the main things haven't done yet is actually put the new chain on. Now, I got myself a new chain. The old one was, as you saw when I pulled it off, the thing was like solid stiff. So I got a new chain. For any of you wondering that no motorbikes, this is an O-ring variant, which are meant to last longer. They've effectively got O-rings around every single link, and it's meant to help keep the dirt out, stop it from wearing out prematurely. So got one of them, so it should all be the right size. We will have to trim it to length. But yeah, once we feed that on, then yeah, we'll be looking pretty good.
Chains come at an oversized length to what you'll actually need, so the first thing you have to do is feed it onto the sprockets and measure how many links you have to take off. There are many different ways that you can break a chain. Usually this is done with a chain breaking tool, but I don't have one of them, so I'm doing it the old-fashioned way with a grinder and a punch.
And there you are. Ta-da! A broken chain. Now we get to stick it back on the bike. Hopefully with any luck, I got the length right. There we go. So this is I think they call this a master link, and pretty much it's gonna allow us to connect this chain back together.
With the chain on, next is a fresh set of grips for the handlebars. I've also got a new air filter to go in, which should hopefully keep any dust out of our engine. Paddy then gave me a hand to bleed the front and rear brake calipers on the bike. This is a pretty easy job as the brake systems are nice and small. So our last sort of mechanical bit is to put some oil in it. So it was empty, and now we're going to put in the correct amount. If you remember when we took this bike apart, very little came out, which was kind of scary. So we're going to put the proper amount in, and then we know it will be right. After seeing the very small amount of very black oil that came out of the bike when we first pulled it out of the container, I was very happy to see the correct amount of fresh golden oil going in.
All right, we've got oil. So the bike is now pretty much ready to run, or at least I think so. So the final step we've got to do is actually make this thing look complete, and we're going to do that with all the new plastics. So I've got to go down and catch up with a mate, Cooper. He's going to help, dress up these plastics and make them look nice. He's also helping with some graphics and stuff. So let's go down there and get those sorted. So I've come down to catch up with Cooper to get these graphics sorted out for the plastics, because I got to get them, looking A1. And the thing I sort of discovered with getting graphics for this old XR is that they're hard to come by because they're an older bike and a lot of the stuff's discontinued. You can get them from Argentina apparently for like $250 or more for like one sticker, but I wasn't going to do that. And I got in touch with Cooper, and he's like, hey, come down and see me, because his job is pretty much making graphics for bikes and stuff, isn't it?
Yeah, that's literally all we do is just motocross graphics.
Yeah, exactly. So he's all over it, and he can find the design, and then as you'll see here, he's made his own cut for it, and it's going to fit straight on the tank like that. So this is going to look absolutely unreal.
So Cooper helped me apply the new decals to all of the plastics, and I tell you what, these were already looking so much better.
So Cooper's given me a chop out, and he's helped apply a lot of these decals, and the tank decal has come up absolutely awesome. He knows how to do this stuff, so he's done a good job, no doubt. And yeah, we managed to do the the fenders and the front cover as well at the same time, so they all come up good too. And yeah, so we'll be able to get these back on the bike. But yeah, big thanks to Cooper. If you do want custom stickers for motorbike, quad bike, whatever it is, Native Concepts, this is what he does, and he's good at it too. So yeah, make sure you hit him up. But we'll take these home, and then we can stick them on the bike. So we're back now, and we've got our freshly dressed up plastics. The fuel tank came out so good. I'm actually stoked with it. And now we get to actually put it on the bike. So yeah, without any further ado, hopefully this thing just slips straight on.
It's when you get to this stage in a rebuild that you really start to get excited. Seeing all the final components that really make this bike come together just makes you want to jump on this thing and ride it. So I can't wait to see how it all comes together. I think it's going to look absolutely awesome.
I'm actually itching to ride this thing. This bike hasn't been ridden in so long, and to ride it, the way it's going to be looking is going to be sick. Now this bike isn't actually registered yet, but I do have the old plate, and I think it looks cool. So we're going to be whacking it back on. It also covers up some wiring, so put some fresh screws and Now this is the new front cover that I've bought. You might remember the old one, the black one, it was shot. So this is the new one. It's like a genuine, this is what they came out with. I did retrofit an LED light to the front, which once I get the bike running, I'll have to play around with the electronics to get this light working properly, but I think it come up pretty neat. So we'll stick this on the front and it should be looking pretty good.
That looks sick.
I'm not gonna lie, that looks pretty good.
That looks so good.
That looks really good. Well, now we can put the fender on. Oh, hell yeah.
That sticker kit is worth every cent. Like, it makes it.
Yeah, I know. How good does it look? How good? Oh, all right, we're getting close, we're getting close. So one of the last pieces of the puzzle that has to go on is the seat. Now you would have saw when I was having a crack at this myself, I couldn't really get it to go on, so I ended up taking it down to a local reupholsterer and he did an absolutely fantastic job. He was able to salvage the cover, which I almost half butchered, but he did say it required a lot of force as well as heat to get it to fit right, but the end result is just unbelievable and it is totally worth getting it done properly. So we can whack this thing on now and I can't wait to see how it looks. So the final bits are the side covers, so we'll whack these on and this is gonna look sick. I can't wait. And dare I say it, I think that's the bike complete. I'm pretty sure that's everything back together. So now we gotta start this thing. So let's wheel it out. Let's get it out in the open. All right, we're not gonna put heaps in it, but we'll put just a little bit in. Now, being that this is the first start since it's had a top end rebuild, there is a bit of a starting procedure. So we're pretty much just gonna, well, hopefully it will start, but once it's started, we're just gonna get it sort of up to temperature, which means pretty much until I can't touch the head anymore, because this is air cooled. And then we're gonna turn it off, let it cool, and then we'll start it again. So you gotta just give it a couple heat cycles to let the piston rings bed in before we go riding it around. So I don't know, without further ado, I guess it's time to go. So we'll turn the choke on. And just because I didn't put much fuel in it, we'll actually stick it on reserve just to make sure that that's all sweet.
But just as I turned the fuel on, it all started pouring out of the bottom of the carb, but this was easily fixed with a few taps from the hammer to loosen the float valve.
Might have fixed it. That might have been a good little hack. All right, if your motorbike ever does that, hammer and a screwdriver. All right, we might be all right still. Swing a leg over. Oh, suspension feels way better than it used to. This thing used to just like sag right down, but now it actually feels like it's, so she's in neutral, she's on run. I guess you just gotta, it's going. How's that all at once? Just went. But notice how we haven't got like any blue smoke. So we've done a couple heat cycles, let the bike heat up and cool down just to help bed in those piston rings. The next thing really is to take it for a ride and see how it goes when it's moving. But it's getting a bit dark at the minute, so I'm gonna come back first thing in the morning. I don't think I'll sleep much tonight, to be honest. And yeah, we'll give this thing a test ride. All right, here we go. First time on the XR after the rebuild. Let's see how it rides. First gear. And we're off. And we are off. Oh, she's running good. She's running real good. We'll come down and we'll head up the driveway. Oh, she's purring, mate. Oh, she loves it. That goes so good. Oh mate, I forgot what this bike feels like to ride. The suspension feels awesome. Like it feels nice. Like it's actually working, it's actually doing something. This is so awesome. But motorbikes are so fun, dude. All right, let's go up here. All right, let's go up here. good. Mate, this thing hammers, it's so good. Running like a dream, no smoke, so smooth. Oh, so cool to see this thing drive and ride after having it all apart. Like, just, oh, I stalled it. That's what happens when you haven't ridden a bike in a while. But with any luck, she should start again, no worries. Hopefully. Come on. There we go, there we go. Got to get used to the clutch a little bit. I haven't ridden this thing in so many years. Like, considering it's an old 250, it goes so well. Like, it's got awesome power. Oh yeah. It goes good, eh? Oh, I stalled it. Right, that is so awesome. It's like, I forgot how, like, for an old bike, I mean, I don't know a new bike, but like, it rides awesome.
Said to Paddy, he's going to be so stoked.
Yeah.
Yeah. See the smile under the helmet.
Well, did I keep riding it?
Go for it, man.
It's your bike, mate.
You're just getting more shots.
So after a few big weekends in the shed, my 1995 XR250R is back on its wheels and it looks, runs and rides better than ever.
Well, there you go. The XR250 is back and I couldn't be more happy with how it turned out. Not only the way it rides, like it's so smooth and has so much power, but also not to mention the way it just looks amazing. And for, you know, the fact that I was able to do this, you know, at a reasonable price, you know, and bring this bike back to life is just awesome, and it's going to be getting a hell of a lot more use. And I'm super keen now to be able to go take it out on some bigger trips, perhaps into the high country. Obviously, going to have to get my bike license and get it properly rec registered first, but we'll tackle that soon. But yeah, this is the bike. Let me know what you guys thought. I'm absolutely stoked with this thing, and yeah, I can't wait to start to use it more and more and have some fun with it.